Now to the cockroach movement, led by young students, that's piling pressure on the Indian Prime Minister. They've been making their case on the streets of Delhi for nearly 2 months. They say the education system is corrupt and favours the rich. And they're demanding the resignation of this man, India's Education Minister Narendra Modi. Today, finally, after 7 weeks of silence, Narendra Modi tweeted. He said, "Nothing is more important than the welfare and future of our youth. We've decided to set up fast-track courts to ensure swift and stringent punishment for those involved in paper leaks. Those who try to harm the future of our youth will not be spared." And in the past hour, he posted this video statement on social media. Have a look.
Friends, I know the paper leak is not an ordinary thing. For tens of thousands of students and their families, it's very painful. And that's why since the paper leaks happened, the 2.5 months ago, we took many steps. The perpetrators are in jail. Today, my departments have given me details of fast-track courts and the stringent punishments that go with it. That will be discussed in Parliament. My Cabinet colleagues will give their inputs and opinions and we shall finalise the provisions. And by next Monday, when it's the second week of Parliament session, we will try and get that bill passed as soon as possible.
That was the Indian Prime Minister there, but that won't be enough for the leaders and supporters of the Cockroach Janta Party. They gave their reaction to our India reporter, Neville Lazarus. Have a listen.
It's a band-aid measure. It doesn't do anything at all to improve the system. It's an eyewash. They want to show as though the government is doing something. There can be no compromise on our demand for Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation. The government must know through your means and through other means that the protesters will not accept anything less than Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation. It is because of him that skulls have been broken open by the police. It is because of him that girls, young children have been molested by the police, and they should be ashamed and they should have already taken responsibility.
Our Prime Minister is a man of many words. Very few of them come true. In the previous, he has promised a lot of things, and none of them have came true. Now, for us to step back and to accept something that he is giving us as a consolation prize would not be acceptable. So I don't think that is feasible. I don't think that's acceptable, and I don't even think that's right.
That's not going to solve the entire problem of the corruption scam that has been going entirely. It's a distraction by telling people that we are doing something, but not addressing the real problem of paper leaks or the system of examination which has failed. They're not trying to address that.
Well, listening to that was BJP National Spokesperson Gaurav Bhatia. Mr. Bhatia, thank you very much for joining us here on the programme. So we know that the Prime Minister in the last hour or so has tweeted out a message to these young people. He put out a video as well. We just heard there from the students, though, that they're saying that's not good enough, that this is just a distraction and it's a bandage approach to a much more systematic and wider problem. I just want to get your reaction to that.
Thank you for having me on your program, Yalda. I would like to begin by saying that your introduction said that the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, was forced to respond. I would put it differently. In a vibrant democracy like India, where we are saying even the protesters have a voice, they have the right to dissent and disagree and even to protest, the Prime Minister has dealt with the entire issue very sensitively. And he has engaged with the protesters also, which is our strength. And as we speak, just a few hours back, there has been a major breakthrough as well, where through dialogues with Shri J.P. Nadda ji, who is a very senior leader in the government, as well as Mr. Jitendra Singh ji, Sonam Wangchuk, who was fasting, has decided to break his fast. And that itself shows that we are serious about engaging with the protesters.
But Mr. Bhatia, the protesters say, regardless of these messages, regardless of the hunger strike ending, they're calling for a nationwide protest tomorrow. So this hasn't allayed their concerns. And they're saying that until the Education Minister doesn't resign, they're not going to get off the streets.
So, Yalda, we need to understand, as I have mentioned, Sonam Wangchuk was one person who was protesting. Now, we have seen that Narendra Modi ji, in his statement made today, and even earlier, had spoken about setting up a fast-track court which will take care of perpetrators of crime, and this will also ensure they're punished. When you say there is a certain section of protesters who feel that they will continue to protest, I can tell you that the large section of society in India has full faith in the leadership of Shri Narendra
So
Modi
you
ji.
don't
If there are
believe that
dissenting
there are
voices,
going to be
can I complete
nationwide?
myself, Yalda, please? Can I
But I
complete
just want to,
myself?
I just want you to address this calls for a
I
nationwide
will, but let me
protest.
complete my point, and I will address your point as well. I need to put forward the facts which are very important. So, if there is a section of youth who want to continue the protest, I can tell you very responsibly, this government believes in the power of engagement. We will talk to them, we'll assuage their feelings, and we are very hopeful that the youth of the country who stand firmly with the Prime Minister will understand, and they will see reason as to why they should not protest and engage in a meaningful dialogue.
Mr. Bhatia, you say that the Prime Minister has addressed this. It's taken him 2.5 months to respond to the demands of these protesters. In fact, what they're saying is that there have been at least 150 paper leaks in the last 10 years. And these issues, these concerns have not been addressed at all. It's taken this protest to spill over and for tens of thousands of people to come out onto the streets before there's been any reaction from the government. The fact that there has been 20 suicides as a result of this neat paper leak, and it's led to the deaths of at least 20 people, that in itself shows the seriousness of this matter, and it hasn't been addressed.
Let me first of all, make it very clear to you, when you give me this number that there have been so many incidents of paper leak, please understand there are examinations conducted by state governments of other political parties as well. And therefore, the responsibility would lie with those governments also. Having said that, I think ours is the government which has ensured that there is a central law which is enacted to punish anybody who indulges in illegal activity.
But this
and
hasn't
it is also
happened,
not,
has it, to date?
Just, Yalda, you'll have to bear with me.
But I do want to put
Yalda,
this to you, sir,
please.
Mr. Bhatia,
I
because
think, we can only have...
You're saying that
Please,
these issues have been addressed, but it's 20 people have committed suicide. And I've just put to you that there are reports that 150, regardless of which government, whether it's in, the provinces and states of the opposition or the current government, as the representative of the national government, the federal government of India, do you not have a responsibility to ensure that the system is overhauled so that this is a fair and equal process for everyone, not just those who can pay for or buy a paper, and have that paper leaked to them?
So I love the way your questions are longer than my answers. And then sometimes you are interrupting me in between. I just want to, make my answer very clear to you. 2 months the Prime Minister was waiting is not correct. Let me tell you, the paper leak happened. There are 2 million students who had appeared. The priority of the government first was that we get the retest done. And the retest was done on 21st. After that, we have also ensured that we engage with everybody. And third, and most importantly, Yalda, you must know that this issue was also agitated before the Supreme Court of India, which also was satisfied with the answer given by the government. Now, having said that, when you say that 20 people have committed suicide, I dispute that number. But even one person committing suicide, our government is very sensitive, and therefore we are making major changes in the examination system itself.
Including
Those are percolating to
for their families, which is one of the demands of the students?
Yalda, this is a sensitive government. We will take every effective decision that will ensure a brighter future for the youth of the country. And they have full faith in the leadership of Shri Narendra Modi ji, who has won 3 Lok Sabha elections. Those are the center elections in the
But I want to
last 14
focus
years.
on this moment, sir, because it is a sensitive moment, as you say. And I just want to show
Absolutely.
some of the reporting from our own correspondent on the ground when the protesters clashed with police. Police came out onto the streets and they were saying that they were protesting very peacefully out onto the streets. Our reporter was there with them. I just want to show our viewers the footage that he captured from the ground.
The protesters have broken the barricades put up by the police and now they are moving towards Parliament.
They hit me on my head, on my face. I would have lost an eye. I've had stitches, and when I fell, they beat me mercilessly on my legs. When I tried to stand up, one hit me on my chest and I fell. I don't know what kind of enmity they had with me.
Mr. Bhatia, there are reports that pellet guns were used during these demonstrations. We saw incredibly shocking and disturbing images of these young people, teenagers, being beaten by riot police. How did it get to that point where they were beaten with sticks, including our correspondents who were on the ground said that they too got caught up in the skirmish and were beaten just by the full nature of the fact that everything was sort of, completely getting out of control on the ground?
Yalda, just the way we are discussing this entire episode, I think your reporters also need to move around. The youth of the country, as well as the cops who are wearing the uniform and they are performing their duties, are all Indian citizens and responsibility of the government. There have been incidents where cops have also been physically assaulted by some of the so-called protesters, to which I would say there is a right to dissent and protest in India, but there is no right to incite violence. And such cases should also be shown by your channel, because that would be a comprehensive coverage, and that is the need of the hour.
And I've been seeing reports of police being injured, but from the reports...
Why are you not showing it, Yalda? Why are you not showing it?
What I was showing you and your response... What your responsibility is, so I'm trying to tell you, your responsibility as the government is to ensure that when a peaceful protest takes place, you don't put out riot police against teenagers who are coming out and beating up protesters. And our correspondent was on the ground and saw that the police started the violence and crackdown against the protesters first.
So, Yalda, first of all, when you say it's a peaceful protest, these are our youth, our responsibility. But if there are elements who are breaking the law, say if there is a protest outside 10 Downing Street, which is not a designated site for protest, I'm sure even the police in your country would act, because that is the law of the country. That is exactly what was done. Minimal force was used, and we are engaging with the students. But if somebody would try to take...
Sir?
May I complete myself?
Were pellet guns used?
Out of courtesy, may I complete myself?
Please go ahead.
You should allow me. I think that's a good way of having a discussion. You can't be interrupting me while I'm making my points. Please, I request you.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. So all that I want to tell you is these are our youth. We are engaging with them. I have given you the names of the ministers who are engaging with the youth of the country. We will assuage their feelings. We will ensure that they also believe in the statements that are being made. But at the same time, nobody has the right to be violent, to use stones or, hurt the policemen who are doing their duty.
Including the police? Will you prosecute the police who have been heavy-handed and violent towards these students?
As we speak, this matter is also before the High Court of Delhi. which has the jurisdiction. I think just like the citizens of India have faith in the judiciary, even you as an anchor should have faith in the robust judicial system that we have. And any high-handedness by any person in uniform also would be looked into. The rule of law has to prevail, and that is the mantra of the Modi government.
Mr. Bhatia, just finally, is the Education Minister going to resign?
I have said what I had to. I think it is the prerogative of the Prime Minister to choose his cabinet, just the way it is in UK, and no channel or no reporter can dictate who would be the minister holding a certain portfolio.
Oh, this is not me dictating, I'm putting the demands of the students to you. And can I also just ask you, sir, can you guarantee that there will be no more paper leaks in the country as a result of these courts that you're putting in place? Is that a guarantee from your government?
The endeavor is to have a foolproof system. There have been marked improvements, and in future, we are very hopeful that such an incident of paper leak would not happen.
Mr. Bhatia, thank you very much for joining us here on the programme.
Thank you.
Well, as you heard in that interview, an education activist who's been backing the students has ended his 26-day hunger strike. Sonam Wangchuk was forcibly hospitalised this weekend and has lost 11 kilograms. The Prime Minister responded to his announcement saying he should follow the instructions of his doctor. And while he's stopped his protest, students say they will be on the streets again tomorrow. Let's speak now to journalist and author Baraka Dutt. Baraka, it's always really good to speak to you. And I know that you've been on the ground with the students, speaking to them, interviewing them, speaking to officials from all sides. You heard there my interview with the BJP spokesperson. I just wanted to initially get your reaction to that and what the government is currently saying, including the Prime Minister.
Hi, Alda. Good to see you as always. It was very interesting to listen to Gaurav Bhatia because I think more or less he was trying to sound a conciliatory note vis-a-vis the students. And the Prime Minister has now twice tried to reach out to the students in the last 24 hours via a tweet and via a very Gen Z-friendly vertical video which was shorter than 3 minutes. I also noticed those details because let's remember, this is very much a Gen Z-led protest. I wish that the government had acknowledged the pain, the anger, the anguish of students, maybe even 10 days ago. Maybe if even 10 days ago, the government had made an attempt to reach out for talks, as they're now trying to do, it wouldn't have come to the point where protesters were facing off with the police on the streets of the national capital. So in short, my primary thought is this. Dialogue is the only way forward, but the government in India miscalculated the depth of the anger among India's young. They thought that maybe not too many people would show up to support this new entity called the Cockroach Janta Party. They ignored the protests at first, and then they realized that they'd made a mistake. So now they're trying to catch up and contain the damage and the fallout.
And Baraka, the protesters are saying these messages from the Prime Minister, it's not enough. The hunger strike of Sonam Wangchuk ending is not enough. They want to see the resignation. They want to see this whole system overhauled. They've now called for a nationwide demonstration. Do you think that's now going to go ahead? And do you think the government can contain this now that we are seeing the Prime Minister and others coming out, trying to take control back?
I think for the benefit of viewers who are watching this, Yalda, it's very important to explain that while this may have started out as anger over a paper leak, I would describe it as akin to a pressure cooker that has burst. What I've been seeing in my interactions with all of the young protesters is this. There is a great deal of anxiety about their future. The paper leak is one part of that. I met today at the protest site the son of a laborer. He's extremely anxious. He's the son of a poor daily wage laborer. He's extremely anxious about whether he can get a job. I interviewed today a woman from a totally different socioeconomic class, upper middle class, but she stood solo to block a police van in Mumbai that was ferrying protesters who had been detained. What I'm trying to tell you is that I think we're seeing something well beyond the paper leak. Let me give you an example. Mumbai's celebrities, the film industry, Bollywood, is known for its silence on political and public issues. This Gen Z movement has managed to make itself so relevant, so cool, so trendy, so popular that we've seen celebrity after celebrity, people who've never taken a single position in years on any issue, feeling the pressure to come out and show solidarity with the students. And I think what we're really seeing is young people saying to the government, to this government and any other government, your power derives from us. So this movement has now become about reclaiming power. I will say one other thing though. I am worried. I'm worried because, you know, when you make an open call for a people's movement, it's fabulous to see young people speaking up for themselves, but it is also a movement without a leader. So sometimes there is this apprehension about who's taking decisions. Where is it going to go? If vandals join the crowd and let's say, you know, start misbehaving, who will contain them? So there are all these concerns because of which I hope that despite the enormous inflection point that this movement has brought for Indian politics, I do very much hope that a genuine, authentic, fair game dialogue does indeed begin between the Cockroach Janta Party and the government. So far, they've said no, nothing short of the resignation of the education minister, but we are hearing that there is going to be a round of talks tomorrow. So I think everybody is still watching that space.
Baraka, I have about a minute to go, but I just wanted to quickly ask you, where does this leave the Modi government that's been in power for 12 years, has more or less had a grip on social media, and there isn't much of an opposition in the country? Where does this leave things?
I think there's no clear answer to that in empirical terms, because it's not as if this sentiment is being tested against any immediate election. But I think if you were to do a survey, and by the way, this survey, I'm willing to stick my neck out on this. I think a majority of BJP voters, people who have voted for the Prime Minister, would say that they want the Education Minister to resign. So that's the first point. And the second point is, this is an extremely powerful government. This is a government that isn't used to a lot of criticism. And I think this is a reminder to the Modi government that, yes, the Prime Minister is extremely powerful. He's in his third term. This doesn't take that away. But the people will ever so often say to the Prime Minister, you are our Prime Minister, talk to us. Whether we voted for you, whether we didn't vote for you, you're our Prime Minister. And if you don't talk to us, we will renegotiate that relationship. It doesn't have to be in votes always, but everything is not about elections.